Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and today we've got a brand new review of Skybreak's Halfblood. Before we go any further, this was indeed voted on by the Bowtied gang, so if you want to be a part of channel membership today and support the channel, help the channel out, then do so. Yes, indeed, Skybreak's third studio record and beginning of a new era of his production, Halfblood, is here. It had been 6 years since his second record with Cascuda, Above the Clouds, and 7 since his debut on the Other Side. But more importantly, it's been 3 years since his true breakout Moonglow EP that dropped on Disciple in 2022. And while Skybreak made his debut back in 2017, it really wasn't until that Moonglow EP that he started to become a real household name in the EDM space. And since then, he's been bouncing around his singles through a flurry of labels such as NCS, Lost in Dreams, Circus, Champo, and has ultimately landed a majority of his modern releases on Monster Cat. But with that notion in mind, this new album finds itself without a real home as Jack opts to self-release this newest project, which may have seemingly been a little out of his control, as he stated on socials that labels seemingly weren't willing to take a risk on this album. So let's first talk about why this album was a bit of a risk. Skybreak's growth in popularity as an artist has pretty much directly coincided with the rise in popularity of color bass as a genre. The subgenre of dubstep, and more specifically melodic dubstep, the term and genre was originally coined by a friend of Skybreak's, Chime, who characterized the style as colorful production that's often paired with bright melodies and euphoric atmospheres. And up to this point in Skybreak's discography, color bass dominated much of his palette, and he quickly became one of the leading producers of said style. So, one would assume that when Skybreak approaches a label with a brand new 11-track, 36-minute record that really isn't color bass, they may be hesitant to take that risk on a new sound of his, not knowing how fans might respond. But I'll say it right out, any label that said no to this record severely missed out. Halfblood is a well-crafted, intentionally thought-out, highly consistent album that sees some of Jack's best production to date. Part of what makes this album so special is his ability to meld together the colorful sound design that's put him on the map with a new, more aggressive, hype-up style of production that bangs in a totally new way. Skybreak is constantly dancing around these styles of bro-step, melodic dubstep, color bass, future bass, trap, garage, honestly tacking all of bass music, pretty much. By following the artwork of his singles, as well as cluing into the few orally narrative elements sprinkled throughout, Skybreak takes the listener on a journey through his own subway system. The first 5 tracks are aboard the Blue Line, and the last 5 tracks are on the Red Line, with the 6th and middle track, Vagabond, acting as both a sonic interlude and narrative transition between the two sides. With all that being said, though, this is a bit more of an additive story that's mainly told through external mediums outside of the album, rather than explicitly within the project itself. But let's let the music speak for itself here, because it really has something to say. Star Cannon starts off this record as the lead track and immediately lets you know where this album is going. It sets up the subway narrative right off the bat, lets the listener know that this isn't the same Skybreak you knew from before, and then absolutely brings the house down. This really was the perfect opener to this record, as the song also embodies that balance of older color bass and modern bass sounds that Skybreak is attempting to merge. And honestly, this whole first run of the record on this Blue Line is Skybreak in elite form. Star Cannon sets the tone, Antimatter brings the heat, Can't Let Go gives us some early hints of Skybreak's impeccable percussion work and garage vibes, Anxiety is a nasty reprieve of haunting sound design, and Street Garden lands the plane with his most personal track to date. Each of these tracks sees Skybreak bringing something new and interesting to the table, while keeping them in a soundscape that all feels so cohesive. And while Anxiety may be the oddest one of the bunch, it's a really fascinating testament to Skybreak's ability to turn emotions into sound. Quite explicitly, the song is the audible version of what Anxiety is like to Jack, but in a fascinating twist. The song's eerie sound design and unsettling tone doesn't dissuade this thing from being a real hit. Yes, it's a more atypical song, but man, does he do a great job of making this also pleasing to listen through. I can feel the sense of dread and angst, but it doesn't push me away at all. In fact, it makes me eagerly wanting more. Kicking off the red line and back half of this album is Stone Cold with Sub 10. And my goodness, this is one of my favorite Skybreak songs to date. Top 5 for sure. Skybreak goes full hip-hop mode, bringing on North London Sub 10 for a hybrid trap, dubstep, UK drill fusion of a track that, more than anything, showcases Jack's production prowess. But we are far from over with this thing, as we are already greeted with Red Hot Skull, the next track and another real shining moment on this red line. Red Hot Skull is a brilliant blend of classic dubstep sound design and modern jump-up bass music. This one, more than anything on this record, was crafted specifically to be a festival banger, and boy do I love every second of it. Dreamer and Chrysalis are up next, and probably my least favorite tracks from the record, but that's not to say that they are bad, just maybe not as flashy or memorable as some of the others. Dreamer does have a real distinct melody and vomit step-like main synth. This is probably the most funky of anything here, and honestly, I think this one is actually going to grow on me quite a bit. And if Dreamer was the more future-leaning garage tune, Chrysalis is a more standard garage one with what is undoubtedly the most simple and typical song of the batch. One that I don't really care for a whole ton. And then World's End, remember in brackets, closes out the track list with a bit of a throwback tune that most closely aligns with his fan-favorite color-based palette. It's almost shockingly light and bright when compared to the rest of the track list, but also in a way acts as a reminder and showcase of just how fresh this new soundwave is from Skybreak. When it's all said and done, Halfblood is a brilliant tour through a subway system of get-up-and-dance bass music with an onslaught of colorful sprinkles. This record manages to be both within Skybreak's comfort zone, as well as venture into formerly uncharted territory. In a current era dominated by more commercial-leaning bass projects from the likes of Skrillex, Knock 2, and even Charlie XCX to some extent, Skybreak has proven that he has what it takes to tango with the big dogs, while simultaneously showcasing his ability to think outside of the box. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Skybreak's Halfblood album a Bowtied 8. But I'm so curious to hear what you have to say about this record. I'd love to hear in the comment section below. Did you not like it? Did you really like it? Are you somewhere in between? Is this Skybreak's best project yet? I'd love to hear them all in the comment section below. But other than that, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.